Hi, I'm Mark Small. This is Civil Discourse Now. It's September 12th, 2022. Indiana has an open door law, and that's its nickname kind of. It means that public agencies, when they have meetings and proceedings, are supposed to do so in such a fashion that we, the public, can see what's going on. The notion is that this is a participatory government. We have a republic, which means it functions on democratic principles. We vote people into office who are supposed to have the most votes, and we get to watch them and what they do, unless it's something of a confidential nature, like handling, let's say, top government secret stuff. But that's not what's handled usually at the state level or at the county level. And so Indiana's open door law says that, it sounds good. It sounds really good. It begins with this preamble about how our government is based upon people knowing what's going on. I mean, it's just really marvelous until you get into the particulars of the statute. Um, for example, how can you know what's going to happen in a meeting unless you're told ahead of time? By the way, soda pop, Moxie. How are you supposed to be able to know? If you don't know what the meeting's going to be about, how can you really participate? So Indiana Code 5-14 1.5-4 provides that public agencies can have an agenda. And if they're going to have an agenda, they need to publish it ahead of the meeting. That just makes such great sense. Problem is, they can amend the agenda at the meeting. So that kind of takes some of the force out of it. And the reason this has any kind of relevance today is that last week in Hamilton County, that's the county immediately north of Marion County, which is where Indianapolis is, Unigov made Marion County, except for like Speedway and Lawrence and Beech Grove, all one city county. So Hamilton County's councils, the Hamilton County Council, has control of Board of Trustees of the Hamilton Eastern Library. And without really giving anybody notice, they amended the agenda for their meeting last Thursday and placed on the Board of Trustees for the library Micah Beckwith. Now, Beckwith's placement on that board should have been cause for concern. Why? Well, he's taken stands. He's a preacher in Hamilton County, Boone County, wherever. He's had moved between churches up there, branches of the same church, but he's made some stands in politics that, for example, he said that President Biden's nominee to the United States support, let's be real frank, the only reason she got on that court was because of the color of her skin, because she's a female, not because of qualifications. Gosh, well, I guess Coney Barrett was jammed in there really fast by the United States Senate after being nominated by the Russian plant, Trump. I guess she wasn't put on because of her gender. Her stellar qualifications were there. But Beckwith also has taken stands on other things, such as saying that this is a theocracy, that the framers meant for it to be a theocracy. In other words, ruled by one religion. And that's really not supported by history. But that it was controversial and that people would be angered by it is reflected by Beckwith's video that he did on his Facebook page, where he said, "Yeah, I own the libs. Their hair's on fire because I got on that library board." That shows his pride in the notion that people were angry. People were angry that an individual whom they believe will try to impose censorship on the library would be considered for that position. That's the kind of an appointment that the open door law presumably is meant, you should be able to discuss it. And before that council votes on it, people can say, I'm opposed to it. I think that's a bad idea. Now, Beckwith was really making fun of people, saying we own the libs and stuff like that. It was done on the slide. He got onto that board, and then when he said he wasn't going to try to burn books or censor anything. He's saying, well, I'm just saying that books that depict sex acts shouldn't be available to a 7-year-old. And that's what we have in that library. And Micah Beckwith might have a point on that. There is one book that has depictions of sex, murders, all sorts of really, really terrible, bad things. And it's caused people to have bad nightmares. People have used that book to countenance them doing really, really bad things. And the thing is, it's the Bible. If you're going to use any kind of standard of, well, we can't have depictions for that, 7-year-olds shouldn't be able to get a hold of it. Well, you might want to rethink what your standards are, because censorship by someone like Beckwith, who obviously, when it comes to history, for example, is not too bright, we really should not have people like him on boards that determine what books are going where in a library. That's really wrong. I'm Mark Small. I am a candidate. I'm the nominee of the Republican Party for Indiana House District 86 in November. I'm pro-choice, pro-environment, anti-gun, and I'm certainly anti-censorship and pro-separation of church and state. When you get somebody in there who's wanting to censor things, that's wrong. But what's really wrong is to have an open door law that has no real teeth. We should amend our open door law so that, one, agendas are required before public agencies have matters on which they're going to vote. We can work through the definitions on that, other states have. And we should have real enforcement mechanisms so that if there's a violation of something like that, well, wait a second, they violated the rule when they put that person in that position. Well, no, that gets vacated. And finally, that you can't just amend the agenda on the spur of the moment at a meeting. That's just wrong. It kind of takes all the teeth out of it. I'm Mark Small, Civil Discourse Now, September 12th, 2022. Peace, love, happiness. Have a good one.